We've assembled teams from the best of Australia's car building and car tuning workshops to see who could build the toughest street monster. Our teams will go head to head in a final fuel-burning rubber shredding competition. First up, we head to Victoria's second biggest city and meet the crew at Geelong Performance Centre.
My name is Paul Farrell. Our business is called Geelong Performance Centre and we're out here in sunny Geelong. We've lived in Geelong for about 3.5 years. We started the business a bit over 2 years ago.
Paul had this idea that he wanted to start a business and he just told me that I will be running the front. That was going to be my job and yeah, here we are in it together.
I've also got Harvey and Brett, which are my two mechanics here. I do all the tuning at the moment, but I am training the boys up with the petrol tuning. I was always tinkering with stuff from when I was probably 10 years old, buying old motorbikes and fixing them up. Always wanted to go fast as well. That was always a passion. Always loved engines and that's pretty much what I'm about, what I always have been about. We're going to build a VF Commodore, an SSV 6-litre V8. We're going to put a supercharger on it, full exhaust, suspension. We'll do the brakes, cool set of rims, some sticky tyres. And I think that will be a good car to take it to the boys at HPF with their Jeep. We'll see how we go. I started at a little servo in Burwood, working on cars but also pumping gas, checking oil. It had driveway service. And then I went to a suspension place, worked there for a few years, that was a good shop. I sort of moved around a bit. I was working at another tuning shop as an engine tuner and I knew HPF and I knew there was an opening there, so I rang Rob, went in and had a chat with Rob and Ian, ended up going there.
HPF might be our biggest rivals, especially being Paul's ex-work colleagues and that there. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. The build for Workshop Wars, it's going to be good fun doing the VE-SSV. I think what we intend on doing, the blower, the exhaust, the wheels, the brakes, it gives a good idea on what we're capable of doing here, and I think it's a good all-round sort of a car.
I love the Commodore, love the LS motor as well, so I think yeah, this will be a good sort of send-off for the Commodore. I'm pretty sad about it, to be totally honest. You know, especially the Commodore going. You know, it's sort of been a big part of my life for, you know, since the VT came out. And yeah, it's a sad moment that it'll be gone.
I've been a mechanic for probably about 8 years. I did stop probably 6 years in. I went off to work in the building industry for a family business. It was good. I did enjoy the work, but nowhere near as much as being on the tools. After about a year, I sort of realised I want to get back on the tools as a mechanic again, and then I got a job in a workshop and I'm happy doing what I'm doing, yeah. I
think the future is going to be diesel and electric cars. Diesel at the moment, but I think in, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years' time, I think we'll all be remapping electric cars. The big thing at the moment would, to be totally honest, would be diesel. We're tuning, you know, a massive amount of common rail diesel engines. Diesel engines were, you know, a fairly big jump. Although I think the guys that really know their petrol tuning don't have much of an issue moving over to diesel tuning. For all you tradies out there, seems to have a dual cab diesel ute these days. We can do amazing things with these cars with nothing more than a remap. So as you can see here, we've just remapped an NP300 Navara, 2.3 litre twin turbo. We've picked up 34% more power, nothing more than a remap. And for those of you that don't know what a remap is, what we do is we read the factory calibration off the car's computer. We open it up, we edit the file. When we're finished, we flash it back in the same way that the factory do. So it's just as safe as the way the factory do it. No add-on chips or anything like that. We run it back up on the dyno. We see what changes we've made and how they've affected the car. So we monitor the boost pressure, the air-fuel ratio, power and torque, exhaust gas temperature and air-fuel ratio to make sure the car is absolutely safe before it leaves here. On most vehicles, at least 20% more power and around 30% more torque. But on some things like this MP300, 34% more power on a dead standard car. You can't ask much more than that.
Next on Workshop Wars, we head to HBF, to the home of horsepower, and take this Maloo ute to the pinnacle of performance.
The W557 is the pinnacle of the upgrades of what Walkinshaw does for the HSV LSA motor. Basically, it's a full exhaust system with 4-in-1 ceramic coated headers, 3-inch high flow cats, and then our dual active catback exhaust. Along with that, we run a new pod style filter, which increases the amount of air that the engine can take in. We also increase the boost pressure in the engine by way of a upgraded pulley. So it's a smaller pulley, so it spins the supercharger up fast and makes a bit more boost. And that's basically our 507 package. So on top of that, to make the 557 package, we include a more aggressive camshaft and a set of 1000cc fuel injectors as well. It gives it that real muscle car sound.
Today we've got a Gen F Series 2 GDSR Maloo ute. When the car came in, it was obviously stock. So then we just set it up on the hoist, removed the exhaust, removed all the air intake, front bar, removed the radiator, and then blower pulley and injectors. Now we're going to remove the supercharger top hat so we can get to the bolts that are inside the manifold to undo the manifold to lift it up so we can get the front snout off. Now that we've got the supercharger snout off, we're going to install the new Walkinshaw 12 PSI pulley.
So it's not only the LSA that we actually work on, we work on the whole range of the Holden lineup. So there's also the 6.2 litre LS3 that's in the new Commodore. And with that, we can do anything from a basic cold air intake and tune, anything all the way up to putting our WP230 supercharger on it with a cam, taking it up to 547 kilowatts. So even more than the current Walkinshaw W1 in a basic SS Commodore. It's an amazing thing.
This is the stock cam that we've just pulled out of the GDSR Maloo. Now we're going to replace it with the Walkinshaw W557 spec cam. Yeah, this cam, it's a good all-round cam. It's not too big. You can fit it dot to dot, so even in an automatic car, it's not going to try and push your car without a torque converter. So it's a very good all-rounder cam. It does have not too much of a lump to it at idle, but it does have a nice chop to it. So it actually sounds pretty tough.
Sounds mean already. So Kevin just picked up his car and he was absolutely thrilled with it. Loved the sound of it.
Sounds tough. It sounds tough. Sounds very good. You've got your new air intake. Okay. And it's fully upgraded to
I mean, most of these guys that are getting these packages are never going to use the 557 kilowatts on the road. They just want it to sound like a proper Aussie muscle car.
all good.
Coming up, we go GTHO dreaming, Phase 3 style, and check out what the boys at AN Racing are up to.
My father was a house painter. I actually, when I left school, I worked with him in the family business for a few years. I remember seeing one of these flashy looking Falcons in the day, which I then found out was a GT Falcon, and they did exist, and we bought my replica back then, I just started mucking around with these cars at home as a bit of a hobby at first, and before I knew it, there was one guy, two guys, three guys coming through wanting me to help them with this, that and the other on these cars because I sort of was pretty good with them. It became too much work to be just doing it in the driveway at home, and we got into a shop and here we are. That's in case we put an elephant in the back of the car and the disc goes up far enough to hit that.
Miles away they are, these rubbers.
The purpose for the client is to have a perfectly built car, to be better than what it was when it was new, better attention to detail with the assembling of the car, more horsepower, more reliable horsepower, just a tidier, stronger package altogether. The plan for today is to basically get just about everything we have here that's powder coated and fit it to the underside of the car. All these little plates and plugs and odds and ends and sway bars, and we'll get the rear springs in. These are brand new 5-leaf. The HOs came out with 6-leaf, but these are actually brand new construction, and they work better than the original 6-leaf from nearly 50 years ago. But we have put the original markings on there just so they look like the real deal. And there's also a part number that we've put on there. After that, kids building these cars. I am married, wife Fenella, 2 kids, Sophia and Alex. We started go-kart racing with Alex about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and he's been going really well. He's done well on the big stage, Australian Karting Championship. He's won around there. He's been running up a couple of times. He's won some club championships, broken various lap records around Sydney and around the country. Going really well. Most memorable would have to be the one and only Phase 4 GT-HO that we restored here. There's also been a handful of Phase 3 GT-HOs. There's been a couple of Phase 2 GT-HOs, and there's also been a Phase 1 GT-HO, so they're all very special cars. 300 XY GT-HOs were built back in '71. As for how many are still in existence, I don't know. I mean, I've had about a dozen of them come through my place over the years for restorations and various other work. A genuine GT Falcon will have a few extra holes and threads in the chassis in various places that are unique to that model car. You know, some of these cars have been smashed and rebodied, and then sometimes people are trying to sell them off as the real deal. This is obviously a replica, we're not hiding that. Ford Muscle Parts is probably the biggest supplier in the country of genuine and aftermarket parts. These are genuine style exhaust hangers. They hold the mufflers up, and then there's another set further back that support the tailpipes. Up under here there's also some threads that are in the chassis itself where these exhaust hangers screw into, and that's also unique to a GT or a HO. These brackets here, there's a plate that's welded to the chassis from the factory, and these brackets bolt straight into it. That's for the rear sway bar, which was only ever fitted to a GT-HO. So if you're looking at a GT-HO, or you think it's a GT-HO, it should at least, as a minimum, have this plate that's welded to the chassis here. The Phase 3 is still available to people who want to part with the right amount of money. There also is a one-off XA GT-HO, which we had the pleasure of restoring here. The production of the XA GT-HO got canned. Basically, the government stepped in and said to stop doing what they're doing, otherwise they won't buy any fleet cars off them anymore. And the 3 companies pulled the pin on their big projects, and one of them was the XA GT-HO. They had already started production, and one of them had rolled off the production line and did manage to get registered. The Phase 4, unfortunately, there's only the one, and I don't think too many people are going to get to own that one. The price of the GT-HO over the years has gone up and down. You know, at one stage they were talking they were close to $1 million, then at one stage they were 300,000. I think $500,000 is probably a reasonable number for one of those.
Next up, we head north to Brisbane. Now the Chevy C10 has been torn down, it's time for the rebuild to begin. But not everything goes to plan.
So I guess we need to make a decision here, guys. Do we start again? Because the car was in a slight bingle back in the day, we want to make sure it's all very square. We're going to put the frame on our jig, line everything up on centre, take a heap of measurements, front, back, side to side, square it all up. The left-hand rail's got a bit of a dip on the underside, so we're going to work from the rear and work forward, and we're basically going to set all our levels. We've got bevel boxes and spirit levels, we're going to get it all square. Placing the engine in there is really just to see what it's going to look like. Physically work out our heights if we need to set, because we're running a big engine plate. We need to roughly work out how low we want before we cut into the engine plate. We've got the independent front end where we want it, and then from that point we'll probably go back down to the frame again. How we looking, Bretto?
It's not looking too good actually. It's a little bit out of square. Probably from that bit of damage that I've got.
Yeah, that could have been me. The previous driver had an incident, so I guess we need to make a decision here, guys. Do we start again? With the frame, we decided that the original frame wasn't going to cut it. Basically, couldn't get it low enough to how we wanted it to suit the cross member for the front end we got. Most of the chassis builds we do, I do a 3D CAD model, make sure that everything works from straight off the bat. So if it works in the CAD and the dimensions are correct, we know it's going to go straight into the frame. Transfer that into the plasma table, cuts the plates, the boys weld the plates up, and we just got new rolling chassis ready to rock and roll. It'll definitely sit on the seals, this truck. We've lifted the chassis to be level with the seal as well, so we'll put little bump stops in, so it'll be low for sure. Back in 1960 to 61, Ford come up with the unibody, which means joining the tub to the cab. Chev never did that. Thought maybe we might join the tub to the cab, so that was a bit of a different direction. Deleted the original dash altogether, and we've started making an aluminium sheet metal dash using Dakota Digital gauges, which we got out of the States. We're making two sort of fighter pods, and we're gonna have the shifter raised up above the bench seat, which will look quite cool, we think. Hey, Dino. Yep. Look what I got for you here. Perfect size, fill that in. Finish the tailgate off.
We just need to raise the centre up a little bit just so it holds its shape.
Okay.
Well.
Bit of curve in it.
Yeah.
Bit of hammer time in here.
Yeah.
Okay. The C10 was my daily driver for 6 or 7 years, and I guess it's got a lot of fond memories. It used to carry engines in the back, and it was actually used as a work truck. When it's turned off and it's sitting with the bags deactivated with no air, the truck will be almost on the ground. And then when the truck comes up to ride height, it'll still sit super low. It's going to be running massive 20 by 14 inch rims on the back with some really big rubber. I'm pretty picky when it comes to finishing and how stuff's engineered and how it needs to be put into the vehicle. Simple is sometimes better than going overkill with colours, so we're going to go pretty basic. Real nice champagne, hot hues colour, black finishes. The engine's going to be polished with black finishes. Real basic trim with a bench seat, removable dash. He wants to show off wiring. We do pretty good electrical work. I guess really we're trying to show off the features that we're good at. Sheet metal, chassis work, engineering, overkill on the engineering. That's what we want to be doing.
Next time on Workshop Wars, we meet Bob, who worked at GM Holden for 37 years and is taking his brand new VF SS to another level with a little help from the lads at Geelong Performance. If you think you've got what it takes to be part of Workshop Wars, contact us for our next season.